What's happening, peoples? Welcome to Ichabod. I'm your host, Be Good. Tonight is Thursday, so of course this is Exit Strategy, and my guest, Jamar, will be on in a few minutes just to help us talk through. You saw the thumbnail, I guess, reacting to Joe Budden's podcast. He had a few notable people on, KevOnStage and Mark Lamont Hill, discussing many things, and then they dove into a deep discussion on the Black church and then the Black church. And so we're going to talk about that. But before we get into any of that, do the thing. Come on into the chat and say what's up. What's up, Thurgood in the chat? Says, what's up, good people? Yeah, what's up, good people? The old Christian in me would say, who are you calling good? There is none good but God. But nah, we off that. Hammers Over Striker says, what up, though? Yes. It's exit strategy. This is titled Exit Strategy because I did not have one for a long time when I was deconverting. I knew the faith was falling apart. I knew that I could not hold it anymore. And I saw the gaslighting that was coming that was going to try to hold people in. And at some point, probably around 2018, 2019, I said, I need to begin to tunnel my way out of this thing. And that included everything from loosening up relationships with the church. Like, I don't want people depending on me, because once I dip, I don't want the whole thing to fall. If I was the worship leader, if I was this or that, nah, I need to get myself out of leadership positions. I need to test some of my relationships to see, like, man, if we're not always talking about spiritual things, do we still have a friendship? I need a source of income that was not going to be dependent upon me being a believer. Oh, somebody said mic check for static. Okay, thank you. How's it sound now? Better now? Y'all let me know. One, two. Okay, thank you. Thanks, hey Eddie. Yeah, I think what happened was I plugged my Bluetooth in and it changed the mic. So okay, appreciate that. Always got to be checking the chat for that. But no, I don't know if you heard what I was saying, but I was simply saying, as I was coming out of the faith, I realized I had to do things to. I got so many Bible references in my mind. Prepare you the way of the Lord, make straight paths for him. Well, when I was deconverting, I had to make a straight path for my deconversion. I had to find a source of income that was not going to be dependent on my Christian identity. I had to, like I said, I had to test relationships to see what relationships do I have that are not dependent on. We got to be talking Bible. We got to be both believing. I wanted to make it so that the church was not depending on me for leadership. That was my exit strategy. I had to make sure that I could walk away without things that I needed or things that needed me falling. And that was part of my exit strategy. So we don't actually talk about helping people come up with exit strategies a lot on the Exit Strategy show, as much as I like to be able to give people the tools, the mental fortitude that you're going to need to not just know that religion, and particularly the Bible, is BS, but to actually be able to say it, to own it, to stand on that, to stand behind that, and to walk that out. So anyhow, that's what's going on here. And I see a lot of friends have popped in. JD Miss, what's happening? Says the mic is good. Solomon Essex with the okie dokie signal. Mo Wheat, what's going on? See you in the chat. So yeah, that being the case, I do want to go ahead and give a shout out to all the Patreon supporters. A few more people have signed on, and I just want to let you know that I appreciate you showing your appreciation. You can show your appreciation a number of ways. One, just popping in when we're on, like, yo, what's up? Liking the episode. That tells the YouTube algorithm to prioritize this content. Sharing it with people, saying, hey, give him a timestamp. Hey, 20 minutes in, check out what he says here. Let's talk about this. Drop a comment on the video after the video has posted. Any of that is going to help the channel out. And then those who say, you know what, I also want to send some support your way. They send a $5 or $10, or some even do more. I just appreciate you guys letting me know that this is helpful to you. The little community that we build here is something that you look forward to, and I look forward to this as well. I cannot guarantee that I'll be doing this, till 2027, 2028. But as long as I've got the energy and strength for it, you'll catch me here trying to be faithful with the Thursdays and dreaming up just new shows to do, to have you guys be able to check in, get something that'll help you, spur you on to love and good deeds. I'm jacking all the Bible's catchphrases tonight. Truxton, what's going on? From Portland, appreciate you. All right, so that being the case, I'm going to go ahead and bring our guest on. Please welcome Will Stomp on to the stage. What's happening?
Yo, what's goody? How y'all doing?
You got to forgive me. I'll be wanting to say Javon sometimes because your last name, for some reason, the letters in your last name make me want to switch up your first name. And
Yeah, I mean, my name is Jamar, though, so you can call me the one, Jamar Will Stop. I'm going to answer to both.
okay, all good. All good. So we're on this tonight because, and I made it, I say this to everybody that comes on the channel. If there's anything that pops up in your news feed that you're like, hey, this would be a great episode, send it to me, and maybe even come back on. And you sent me something, and I was like, yo, you think you want to come back on and talk about this? So you were just sending it to me like, hey, react to this, but I threw it back to you. So I'm curious, what made this stand out to you?
Ah, man, it was a good interview anyway. I messed with KevOnStage, and I watched the Joe Budden podcast, but it was just a regular good interview, and somebody brought up the topic, like, I think it was homosexuality in the church or something like that, or um, what do they call it? Homophobia in the church,
Mm-hmm.
and they just went in. I was like, whoa, I didn't notice about Kevin on stage. Like,
Now, I'm gonna be
listen,
honest with you. I don't really rock with KevOnStage like that. Like, I don't. He's funny to me every once in a while, but that's just me. But
yeah,
the interview wasn't really about church, right? They were talking about something else for the first hour and change.
yeah, they was talking about his journey through the industry, things like that, what he got cooking up. And then it was just like they opened the door and he walked right through it. Like he had some stuff to get off his chest.
Oh, so this interview, this was them interviewing KevOnStage. That's what this was.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't even peep that was the context. I thought it was just a bunch of dudes sitting around. So wait, I've seen Mark Lamont Hill on Joe Budden quite a few times. Is he just like a regular on there now?
yeah, he's a regular on there now. And
Okay.
he's got a spinoff show with one of the producers on there and everything. Yeah, he's a regular.
Oh wow! All right,
Yeah.
so I'm trying to find this image. I want to flash something and get your reaction before we go into the video. And it's taking me too long to find this. Bear with me real quick. Where is it at? All right, so there's something that's happening. I guess it's a social media conversation these days, but this happened, and I think I should have got my facts right. Was this Atlanta or was it New Orleans? You'll see in a second. I'm going through all these files here trying to get this the right thing.
Yeah.
Almost. It's got to be close. Sorry, y'all. I should have had this named so I can get right to it. All right, here we go. I want to get your thoughts on this.
Okay. Oh shit. Yeah, I seen that earlier.
So just,
You know
just
what,
give me a
Brady? One thing that I've realized in my journey through life is people live life all kind of different ways, bro.
true.
And I ain't, My life experiences and my travels have not led me to a path where I would do some shit like that. But whatever circumstance, this is in Atlanta, right?
I think it is Atlanta. All I know, know it's New Orleans. I'm sorry, it's New Orleans.
Okay.
So I'll
No.
read the caption for anybody who can't see it because it's too small. Somebody just posted this, and everybody's talking about it right now. Matter of fact, there's a woman went viral because her husband sent her a picture of him down there in the red dress with a bunch of other dudes,
Mm,
and she went viral because I don't know if they doing this for cap or for real. She in the screenshot she told him, she responded to him by text, "Don't come home." Like she basically
damn.
ended their relationship and kicked them out. Like basically, what type of time you on? You want some gay shit? Don't come home, and put them out. So, but I'll read the caption for anybody who can't see it. I've never seen so many men in red dresses in my life. That's just a weird thing to say. Like you've seen, like you see other men. Like you said, so many men. Like I don't see men in red dresses, but she's like so many men uh, in red dresses in my life. Apparently, this is an annual charity event held on Saturday in New Orleans. It raises hundreds of thousands of dollars for local causes such as food, housing, animal welfare, and community health. So that's what's going on here. However, the event has generated a lot of online discussion. The tagline alone made me shake my head. Straight men took over the red dress run 2025. So go ahead. You were saying.
Nah, I wouldn't do no shit like that. I saw your comment though. You was like, hopefully I'll reach the point someday where where I'm masculine enough to feel comfortable doing something like that.
Yeah, I just said
Oh yeah,
I want to be secure enough in my manhood where I could do this and not give a fuck. Like
yeah,
clearly the dudes in this video, if they're not gay, they could care less what any like, what are you going to say to me? You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I would love to have that kind of security. It's not that I'm insecure in my manhood, but I think if I was standing out there in a red dress with a slit up to my thigh, I would feel a little insecure.
yeah. I'm
and
not
I
gonna
want
do no. Yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna do nothing like that. I don't know what type of lives these guys have lived to lead them to the point to where they felt like that was the move, or it's like the red dress thing is the thing. I guess everybody wears red dresses, and they was like, "Yo, we want to support," and I'm macho or whatever. They might, some of them might be gay, but they was like, "We gonna participate too." More power to them and doing what they do. This
so let me
reminds
ask you.
me.
Okay, good.
Now, this reminds me though of. I don't know if you was paying attention. I remember when the rapper Young Thug had first came out.
Yep.
He
Yep.
was
He's
wearing
the
he
first rapper to wear a dress like that.
he was wearing dresses. He was wearing like female tops and different things like that. And from the outside, everybody was like, "This dude's gay. This dude is wooty wooty woo." But everybody in Atlanta knew that he was one of the biggest gangsters in the city. So
Mm,
when you speak of being macho enough to do that and not give a fuck, that just reminds me of how he
yeah.
came out and was doing that to garner attention and to get people to just look at him and to keep his name in their mouths. You know what I'm saying? But he was so secure in his manhood and his street credibility to where he like, I'll wear a whole dress on my album cover. You know what I mean?
So I was going to ask you, you said you wouldn't do no shit like this, but I'm just curious. Does any part of you, well, I'll ask it this way. Does this make you lose respect for these men, or do they earn a certain amount of respect from you for doing this?
I mean, it's the respect that I have for him is the same before the is
So you don't lose any.
no more, no less. It would have to
Okay,
be
that's what's up.
they would have to actually do something disrespectful for me to lose respect. I
And this is
respect
not disrespectful.
No, I respect anybody who choose to do whatever they want to do, long as it's not harmful.
Okay, that's what's up. And I think that's sort of why I posted it. I said I want to have I want to be able to. What did I say? I want to be secure enough in my manhood to be able to wear to do what these guys are doing. And I think I posted it not because I have a desire to do that. I posted it because, like you said, who are they harming? Now, somebody could say they're harming the psyche of young boys, or they're harming, or they're confusing the. I don't think that's where the harm would come. I think what they're actually doing is to me, they earn my respect for being able to do this, and like I said, not care what anybody else thinks, to be secure enough in who they know that they are, that this does not take anything away from their manhood. And clothes, it's just clothes. Like, you're gonna have to clothe yourself one way or another. So like you go back in time long enough, and every man was wearing a dress. You know what I mean? Like,
Sort of,
we just didn't
sort of.
designate it, right? We didn't designate it as women's clothing, but you did. Pants.
Some of these, I gotta zoom in. Some of these bitches, yeah, they ain't.
Pants was an invention at one point. Like,
It
yo,
wasn't.
you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't always pants. It wasn't always jeans. It wasn't always cuffing your, the bottom of your leggings or whatever. So anyway, I'm just throwing this
Yeah,
out there
if
because
one of my guys did that, I'm gonna definitely have jokes though. I'm not homophobic or nothing, but we gonna get these jokes out. You know what I'm saying?
all right. This is a good segue into where we're going to go with the discussion. So I did see a super chat from JD Mitz said, "Thank you for the $5 super chat." He says, "What up, my guy? Very slowly trying to catch up to Thurgood," with the laughing emoji. Yo, I appreciate you, man. I really, really do. Thank you so much for supporting. And yeah, Thurgood he's in the stratosphere, but maybe y'all catch it. Thurgood. All right, so let's dive in. It's about a 30-minute clip that I have, so we can jump around wherever. But I'm going to start them off from
Bet.
where you told me. You said around a 120-minute. That's where I'm going
Yeah,
to start
around
them from.
120.
All right. And if you can't hear it, let me know.
That was a great homophobia point too, though. The church people be the first ones. They might have invented the gaydar.
Man,
They might have
yeah,
invented
no,
the
I've
gaydar.
had a conversation
I
with
think they did.
But that's weird
Because they looking at 3 and 4 year olds like, watch that one.
Yeah, but the church is, especially the musical section. It's
the choirs and stuff.
It's kind of,
And that's the thing.
Kind of
too.
what?
It can be.
No, make them say it. Hold up. Kind of what?
yeah. What you? A lot of the vocalists and a lot of the choir directors and
Oh,
if you
yeah.
look through
There's a lot of-
history, a lot of them have been gay.
Or are gay.
Are gay,
Yeah, have been
and they
gay.
don't hide it. They're very.
I'm curious for you. Did you go to a church where there were gay choir directors, or people who everybody knew they were gay, but they just wouldn't say it?
I would say in the city. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. I wouldn't say there may have been one gay. He wasn't flamboyant or nothing like that, but I ain't never seen him with no woman. You know what I'm saying? Ever over years. You dig what I'm saying? But
So I grew up in a black church, and I can't think of any. Oh no, I'm sorry. There was one person in our church that everyone knew. This person was homosexual. He was a teen. He was on one of our youth group. But outside of him, no choir, nothing, nobody. So and this was like a 2,000 member church. So when I learned that there was a stereotype about choir directors and all that, I was like, really? Like, I never heard of it.
yeah, but there in the city has been and are a lot of gay people in choirs that like lead citywide choir or nationwide choirs. You know what I mean? There's a lot of them, yeah. And I think for a period of time they wasn't necessarily open with it, but then I see more and more they're becoming to be open with their lifestyle and still leading choirs and still leading praise teams and different things like that.
When you were a Christian, did you turn a blind eye to it, or did you always think that ain't right?
I thought it wasn't right.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know how it is, like in the city of the Christian rappers, it's like a gospel rapper community, and that'd be some of the things that we talk about, like so and so, and then they let them lead their choir, whoopty whoopty whoop, and know they gay and whoopty whoopty whoop. Like, yeah, we was on that.
I remember the first time my group went down to the GMA, the Gospel Music Awards in Tennessee.
Flooded.
Yo, there was a famous singer a black gospel artist, and one of her backup singers, a dude, started hitting on one of our guy Enoch from Cross Movement, and Enoch is like he's a muscle bound dude, and this big dude from this singer's background set came up to him and started hitting on him. Yo, he was so furious. I didn't know if we were going to be able to hold him back, but none of us knew that was just the scene. By that time, I had heard the rumors about the gospel music industry, but to be in the city to be in the gospel music scene and had to happen, it was like complete culture shock.
Yeah. Another thing that we used to chop it up about is like, you know how they say you catch the Holy Ghost, you know, especially in the Kojic movement, it's like, why y'all dancing like the ladies dance? When y'all get the spirit, you know what I'm saying? Why y'all got to dance like the ladies dance? The same sassy movements.
Were you into gospel music?
I'm still into gospel music, my guy.
Do the names James Cleveland, does that ring a bell for you?
Yeah.
He was a homosexual man, right? But then he said God delivered him at some point or something.
Donnie McClurkin.
Oh, I forgot about him. Yeah. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of these guys travel around with, you know, armor bearers.
Well, I mean, all this is making me think about who's the guy? Eddie Long?
Man.
Wasn't he messing with young men in the church?
Man, sending pictures, posing with his tight muscle shirt on. Yeah.
So
And preaching against it at the same time.
And this is not just a black church thing. Like every day when I open my news feed in the morning, like literally, every day there's a new GOP, like Republican lawmaker, white male, who's getting caught out there doing something with either a kid or doing something homosexual, but on this family values platform, like wanting to outlaw pornography and wanting to like all this, doing all this shit publicly, and then getting caught up, you know, with the same BS that you're trying to outlaw behind closed doors.
Yeah. That goes back to the point to one of the things that I brought up on my first exit strategy interview was like, when you see the type of stuff that some of these people be involved in, it just made me be like, you can't really believe this shit. Like, I feel like there's a lot of Christians that's in the industry, all right, like, because the gospel music world is the industry. It's like they do it because that's their profession. But you're preaching because this is your profession. This is how you get money. But you really live a whole nother lifestyle outside of this.
So at some point, I don't remember because I don't have timestamps, they're going to start talking about how the Bible has been misused. And one of the things that I want to bring up when we get to that part is everyone always takes the blame off of God, off of the Holy Spirit, off the Bible, and keeps putting it back on us. But the point you just made that you alluded to even from your first time on this platform is, okay, at what point are we going to stop putting the blame on us? Because you're right. All these men of God and, you know, spiritual leaders and this, that, and the third, they get into all the nonsense. And then we say, oh, it's them. But like you said, wait, if they can keep doing all this, at some point, when do you ever turn back to God and say your sanctification plan is shit? Like, you ain't sanctifying nothing.
Nothing. And
all right, let's get a little okay.
Yeah. Now I was gonna say for a lot of these guys and women too, women is too. A lot of these people, they become a sort of celebrity, you know, in this gospel world, and so they have access that they probably didn't have access to when they were coming up. You know what I'm saying? So that these people be preying on folks, man. Not PRAY.
Right. Exactly.
Flamboyant.
It's funny. Well, they hide it and they don't hide it, right? I mean, it's like they don't. It's what do you call it? Don't ask, don't tell. Like everybody knows
like
the
the
choir
army,
director's
I
gay.
guess,
Everybody knows that deacon is gay. But you, at least growing up, we couldn't say that.
Yeah.
But everybody kind of knew it, and then it's shrouded in this kind of benevolent homophobia, like love the sinner, hate the sin. So you got to sit there and actually be told that who you are is wrong while being told.
I think that's a good point that a lot of Christians don't often think about. Love the sinner, hate the sin. And Mark Lamont Hill said, like, that's such a disrespectful thing to say to someone, because you're not taking into account that this is an integral part of who this person is. Your sexuality, like we just talked about, all these, GOP leaders and church leaders, whatever, getting caught up in all these sexual sins. I fell or whatever. Your sexuality is a part of who you are. And if you've got to suppress that or you got to hide that, you ever wonder why the Roman Catholic Church deals with all the shit they deal with them molesting kids and all that? Why? Because somebody told you can't get married. Well, what the fuck? Like, now you're suppressing. And I'm not saying that there aren't people who are legitimately pedophiles, like whether they were sexually repressed or not, they would still be attracted to children. There probably are some of those, but still in this order where you're telling people you can't marry, you can't make use of, even if you're a Christian, these should be God-given avenues for your, sexual outlet. But somebody says, no, you can't even get married. So now you got to repress that. And then you wonder why your organization is running rampant with pedophilia and all kinds of things. So I'm just saying that point of love the sinner, hate the sin, telling somebody that their homosexual orientation, their sexuality is sin, you're demonizing a part of who that person is. And many Christians don't think about that.
Yeah, they don't. And that ain't even biblical, because God hates sinners, bro.
Wait, say more. Say more.
God don't love the sinner and hate the sin. He hates the sinners, bro. Like, yeah.
Wow. I'm trying to think, what would the Christians say to that? He hates sinners. Well, no, because John 3:16, God so loved the world, and the world was full of sinners, that he gave his only begotten son.
Yeah. I'm not as quick on scripture recall, but if you gave me a minute, I could come back with some scripture that'll tell you that God don't mess with sinners. Period.
Yeah. Well, here's a question you could ask even before knowing any or recalling any scripture. Can God really claim to love anyone that he's going to eternally torment?
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. Because when you talk about an eternal torment, fam, like forever,
And I love you.
And I love you though, but hellfire forever.
Yeah.
No, that's not love.
All right. You let me know if we should skip ahead, because I think we'll be talking about this for a minute, but if there's some more good stuff, we can keep it moving.
Oh, that we love you. It's the fuck.
Hold on, where's it at?
Yeah.
So
that
let me tell
also
you.
kind of. Oh my bad. Go ahead.
I had a conversation with someone at my mom's church about this, because he disowned his son. And he was a higher up in the church. And his son was on bad times. I was like, so what? I don't care. So I'm like, how could you with your son?
Right.
And his answer, which it made sense to him, was like how you said you love your wife, and then the hierarchy.
Yeah.
God first.
Yeah.
And that's the way he looks at it. He's like, yo, the Bible first, God first, everything comes after that. So because it's frowned upon here, and I choose to love God more than anything else, even if it's my own family, I have to pick this over that.
That's why Corey be laughing at us.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, brother.
Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, man. It just shows that just goes to show the toxicity that is in Christianity, and not just Christianity, Islam as well. You know what I mean? We don't really look at humans as humans are. Of course, for reproduction purposes, you need a man and a woman to reproduce. But you could go back as far as you can in time, and same sexes have been attracted to each other. It's some people are born with that trait, or develop that trait, even if they're not born with it. You know what I'm saying? And it's a human thing. You dig? But this religion, because you have this teaching that's telling you that this is an abomination, it gives you somebody to point the finger at and say that these people are worse than me. because even the heterosexuals, it could be heterosexuals in the church that's whores and sleeping around and wooty wooty whoop. They're not going to be looked at as bad as the homosexual. You know what I'm saying?
Trying to think of the abominations. There's 6 things the Lord hates, yea, even 7. And you state a haughty look, trying to remember. Homosexuality is not listed in one of the things that are considered an abomination to God, is it?
Nah. And
And Sharon Good, just as soon as I said it, she just put it in the chat. Bible God killing his own should be that should be the abomination.
exactly. But if you look at it like this, though, so that same father says, I'm disowning my son because he's going against God. But if that same son was in a monogamous heterosexual relationship outside of wedlock, I don't think he would have that same feeling to shun and disassociate yourself from your child. You know what I mean?
Solomon Essex said, weren't David and Jonathan bisexual? As a Christian, I probably would have gone to bat for they just had a tender friendship, but I have heard arguments made for the way Jonathan and David loved one another was a see, I can't see the authors of the Hebrew Bible writing a bisexual relationship into their history because of how against it they were. But I've heard people try to make that point before. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I definitely heard people trying to make that point before. It was funny. I was listening to I don't remember the exact people who were on there. I was listening to a Christian call in. He had an atheist call in on his show, and they were doing a debate. And he hung up. He hung up and dropped the caller from the line because the caller he was like, "Yo, I'm actually writing a book about how Jesus might have been gay." He was like he was like because the ancient times when they talk about washing feet, that might mean something else. You know what I'm saying? That was
I've never thought of that.
yeah.
Yo, wash my feet.
But you know how the feet was the balls though. You know what I'm saying? That was another term for it back in the
Yeah, I'm
day.
just saying, like, you know how dudes when they disrespect each other, yo, suck my. Imagine just saying,
Yeah,
yo,
yeah,
wash
yeah,
my
yeah.
feet. Like,
Yeah. It's like why Jesus washing all these feet, yo? But
uh,
hey, buddy got hot and hung up on him. He was like, he's not having a serious conversation to even bring that up.
hilarious. All right, I think I'm gonna skip past this part a little bit and try to get more into the meat of what they're saying here.
Word.
Thing is, I struggled a lot with good, and Jesus didn't come to do what was right. He came to do what was good.
Hold on,
Christ.
Christ. That's the whole thing. His whole thing was love. And I think about the woman, the adulterous woman, right? It was actually the people who wanted to stone her were the religious people. Pharisees and Sadducees said the law says we need to stone her. And Jesus didn't come to do what was right. He came to do what was good. And the good, the
You buy that?
Nah. Nah.
Speak on it.
I feel like
So,
he's kind of putting his own interpretation on things.
as
And
they always do.
yeah, you can. I mean, I can see his argument for that. But to say, like, as a Christian, I wouldn't say. I can see why people say that Kev ain't no Christian because as a Christian, I wouldn't say that Jesus didn't come to do what was right. He came to do what was good. Um, I can kind of track with him a little bit because you can see Jesus, you know, healing on the Sabbath or picking weed on the picking grain on the Sabbath or whatever. And yeah, even in that instance, he didn't allow them to throw the stones. But his thing was more so like all of y'all is fucked up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing. To say he didn't come to do what was right, he came to do what was good. What most Christians like Kev who say that don't realize is, so then are you saying that the law was not good? Like, if the law
Yeah.
says is right, But Jesus says, no, I'm going to do what's good. Then you're saying the law is not good.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the Old Testament would scream in your face on that one. God's law is perfect. God's law is pure. God's law is holy. You know, like to say it's not good, but it was right. So Jesus went the good way, not the right way. Yeah, that's the unchristian thing that I think you would pick up on.
yeah. And it's funny because Jesus said, you know, the law, I came to fulfill the law, not abolish it. But
Exactly.
Christians will take that as saying Jesus fulfilled it, so we don't have to do it.
He nullified it
Like
basically.
like you disregard that I didn't come to abolish it. And if anybody teaches you to not follow these laws, let them be encouraged. Like you disregard all of
Yeah.
that just because he said I fulfilled it. You did.
Yeah. All right, let's let him go.
Thing legally, stone her.
Stone
This
her.
is our law.
This is the law.
This is our law. Nobody will get mad at you.
And for anybody who's like wanting us to make the comment, we know this portion of the scripture is not in any of the earliest manuscripts, which makes many people think it was added later, and it's not
Right.
something that was actually part of the Jesus myth, or Jesus legend, I guess, when it first was developed. We know that.
Right.
This is the law.
That Mary Magdalene.
Sing and write and arrange the songs.
Same thing in hip hop.
Yeah.
Oh, let me go back.
It was to me to use people's skill. But he said he who was without sin cast the first stone, right? And I think that's an example of being good, not right. And I think that's how I've lived my life. And when I worked in the church, it felt disingenuous to me to use people's skills and deny their humanity. That for me, and this is before
He's preaching right there.
I even started
Nah,
learning.
he is. And that's something that I've definitely witnessed in the black church is you can get promoted, especially in these prosperity churches. It's like you can get promoted. They not really concerned about your lifestyle. If you're a businessman, if you got some money, if you got some status, they'll put you in leadership. If you're a great sound engineer, they don't give a damn about how you living outside the church. They gonna put you in position. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They'll use your skills regardless of your life.
And he said that was disingenuous for him. And it's I haven't watched much of this interview. I think I maybe watched a few minutes more. The juicy stuff that you wanted to talk about, I probably haven't even got to. But I always used to, like I said, I don't watch KevOnStage, but when I would watch him, I don't get it. Like, are you church or are you not? And I think some of the things that I'm hearing so far is helping me understand why he don't fuck with it as hard as it's almost like church people and Tyler Perry. You go to him because you think he's making content for you. And maybe he's enough from your culture where he's intentionally targeting you. But if you were to ever press him on it, he stiff arms that community in a lot of ways because he don't really rock with their ethic. And I think that's coming out in what he's saying here.
Tyler Perry wanna listen, Tyler Perry gonna put that dress on and he just got caught up in the scandal with one of the actors that he was involved with.
Yeah,
saying
I
that,
heard. Yep.
Yeah, so he trying to I ain't gonna talk too graphic, but yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. All right, let's keep it going.
You feel like it's kind of whack.
Yeah.
Something wrong. He was unchallengeable.
True.
And then when I got older and the internet started, being stuff. So for me, this was just like this new knowledge is. But I like learning. A lot of times, the people in the church they don't want to be challenged.
Hold on, let me see what this new knowledge is. Let's see if that's important.
Wrong. He was unchallengeable. Wrong. He was unchallengeable. So
I got you.
what really messed me up was the internet. I grew up only hearing my pastor's voice.
Yeah.
And you could not challenge the pastor. Whether he was right or wrong, he was unchallengeable.
True.
And then when I got older and the internet started, being more popular, I could start to hear from other voices.
Were y'all Pentecostal?
Pentecostal, apostolic, which is very strict. Floor length skirts, no makeup, no pants, stuff like that.
That's
so then I'm hearing
That's
people.
like Marvin Gaye's dad.
Yeah. And
Ironically.
no disrespect, my pastors growing up, none of them went to seminary. They weren't theologians and stuff. So I'm realizing when you hear from people.
Can I just say I like the fact that you have all these black men sitting around having what to me, this is becoming a very important discussion. I don't know what they were talking about before, but this is such an important discussion for them to be having because it's almost therapy. Like this is that barbershop kind of like,
Yeah.
we just need to talk about some things. And this is almost therapeutic for me just seeing it, let alone hearing what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I feel like they created a safe space for Kev to get some shit off his chest that he didn't want to say.
Yo, thanks for sending this my way. Cause I'm, like I said, I don't rock with him as an entertainer, but this is helping me understand so much. And I'm just enjoying this.
Who
Yeah.
actually studied further than like repeating what they heard. A lot of the Bible we misinterpret.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
much of it.
Absolutely.
So a lot of things we think are true and hard. Some words didn't even exist.
They're not
There's
even
not
in the
even an
Bible.
English
Right,
There's
translation.
no translation for it.
Yeah, and we are like really harping on that stuff. So for
I just think that's an excellent point to consider there. He said, I grew up only hearing my pastor.
Hmm.
I didn't even know there was other, I didn't know there was other preachers.
Yeah.
And then the internet comes along, and now you're hearing voices and views that you couldn't even fathom.
Yeah. Soon as you come across Bart Ehrman, it's over.
Well, see, I
Yeah.
came across them in safe spaces. I came across them in Bible college, and they came with a parental advisory label. Like
Hmm.
Bart Ehrman, John Dominic Crossan, they came with warnings from my professors. Danger, warning,
Hmm.
don't don't listen to these guys. So then everything that they said was looked at through the lens of that's the enemy, as
Yeah.
opposed to just being at home on your phone scrolling and you see an interesting title, you click, and now you're hearing, about Spinoza discovering that the Holy Spirit was a late Greek invention that was added into Christianity. Like, and there's no one to guide you or guard you from understanding, like, yo, should I believe this or not? I can only
Yeah.
imagine what that did for him.
Yeah. What I'm getting from this interview is that KevOnStage recognizes that he had been indoctrinated
Hmm.
and that there's more to life than what he had been taught. And he's also recognizing that these people that taught me all of this shit didn't even really know the Bible like that. For real.
He said they hadn't been to seminary. They're just here preaching to me. And so, yeah, you're
Mhm.
right. He realized how uninformed he was, and then had to look and realize how uninformed his pastors and ministers that were over him were. That had to be a
Mhm.
shell shock for him.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
me, this was just like
Uh-oh.
We back to the dresses.
I don't know how that got back on the screen.
Men on the run.
knowledge is. But I like learning. A lot of times the people in the church, they don't want to be challenged on anything.
Yeah.
It just, if the pastor said it, it's true. But I remember what happened to me. I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah.
My pastor didn't want us to go into the movies, but we could watch movies. So I was like, this is weird. Like, is the theater sinful? What is the issue?
Yeah.
Found out when I grew up early or later, his son had sex in the movie theater. So he told our whole church
that
the
was a
movies were
breeding
bad. And I'm
ground
like,
for- yeah.
Now, here's what's wild. The Bible college that I went to, when I went there in 2003, all the students and the staff and the professors all had to sign a pledge that they would not drink alcohol, that they would not smoke cigarettes, that they would not go to the movies, and that they would not dance.
Would not dance.
Would
It's
not
crazy.
dance while they were employed or attending the school. And almost like Kev, I found out because I got invited into a board meeting one time with the actual board. The reason why they have those rules in place is because the school was founded in the 1930s. And back in the 1930s, dancing and going to the moving pictures was seen as secular and worldly. And there were still people alive who were on the original board back then, and they're still big funders. And because the school didn't want to piss those people off, they still had people in 2003 pledging to not drink, not dance, and not go to the movies. And one of my favorite professors at the school got fired because he went to the bar.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember when I was doing Christian rap, me and some of my guys, we went to this Wesleyan youth camp, and it was like we could rap, but they had to stay seated. They couldn't get up and dance. They couldn't, like, none of that. They could listen to his rap, but they had to stay seated.
Wow.
So it's definitely still going on today.
Could they move to the music? Was that okay?
I don't remember them moving really, bro. It was like it was the weirdest shit ever for real.
Talk about the frozen chosen. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
That's just your son.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
Black people out of the equation.
Yeah.
They were fighting wars on Christianity, but they really wanted that land.
That land.
That's what the
And
South
what did
Africans say. Like they came to us, to our land with Bibles and said, "Let us."
Oh, this might be a good point here.
Tool to control.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Early African religions are not the Christianity that we learn.
Got it.
I think religion was especially Christianity in America, has been a tool to control for many years. And throughout the years, all wars were started in over religion.
Yes.
But I don't think it was created to be that. But I think it's been a tool for colonialism. Like, we're gonna teach them how to be civilized.
Make them be
we're
this
gonna teach them
passive and-
yeah, and this is just like if you
That was the old
English
South
versus Saxons versus Danes. Take black people out of the equation.
Yeah.
They were fighting wars on Christianity, but they really wanted that land.
That land.
That's what the
And
South
what did we-
Africans say. Like they came to us, to our land with Bibles and said, "Let us pray." And when we opened our eyes, they had the land and we had the Bibles.
That's a great quote. I think it's from a Kenyan leader. When the Europeans came to our land, we had the land, they had the Bibles. They said, "Let us pray." And when we opened our eyes, they had the land, we had the Bibles.
We had the Bibles.
Yeah, craziness. Any thoughts on,
Yeah.
I mean, they're just basically talking about religion as a tool to control. That's a trope that many people often say, but that's what I was saying a minute ago. I don't like that trope too much, that religion is a tool to control, even though I think it's true. The reason why I don't like it is because people who say it, often what they're doing is they're rushing to, they want to get rid of, like Kev said a minute ago, even in this part, he said, religion here in America is not the same as a religion like in Africa, whatever. And they want to carve out a space for the religion to still exist. Like, there's a way to do it where it's not about controlling. There's a way to do it where it's not about taking land. There's a way to do it when it's, but actually, no. If you go back and look at what Israel, ancient Israel was, what was the religion about? God's going to give us these people's land.
Yeah, it's basically that. God has given us control of this is the one true God, and God said, we could take this land and we could kill everybody that's there. We can buy them as slaves. We can own these people. We can take their daughters. You know what I mean? Because they're
And if
heathens.
we lose in a battle, if we lose the land, it's only because we weren't being obedient enough. So y'all be more obedient so that we can be more unified and do a better job at taking the land next time.
Yeah. Until
So how are
you
you going
just
to
get
carve out a space for the religion to exist free from that when that's how it begins?
that's what it's about.
Exactly.
Until you get your ass whooped enough, until it's like it's a spiritual thing, y'all.
Exactly. That's what Christianity is. You spiritualize the thing because you couldn't get it to happen materially like you wanted for all these years. So now you make it a spiritual kingdom. And then you realize, damn, if we make the land spiritual, we make all the blessings spiritual, make the promises spiritual, we got even more power because I forget, it was a documentary. I think it was I don't know whether it was Shiny Happy People or one of those documentaries where they were talking about how the evangelical church is basically fleecing the flock. Oh, I think it was the Hillsong documentary.
Okay.
And one of the ministers in the documentary said, another minister said to him, "There's nothing easier to sell than the invisible." That's
Word.
his summary of church ministry.
Word. I
It's
believe
crazy.
it. I believe it. I believe it. I was just I sent you another video I came across of this Kojic convention, and this pastor he opened up something from the book of Isaiah. He read like three words, like a half of a like a quarter of a verse, closed the Bible, and just got to talking about blessings being over your head, windows being over your head, and whoopty whoop. And by the end of the time he preaching, he was like, I don't want y'all to miss this move of God. God is in the building. I need everybody to get $120 seed in their hand. I was like, word.
Insane,
They-
man. Well, I'm laughing, but at the same time, I got family members, bro, that are still tithing a huge portion, probably tithing and giving love offerings on top of that. And they're
Yeah.
not giving to get necessarily. But I talk about this on this podcast a few times. One of my close family members, I remember she told me one time, I said, like, why are you giving all this money to the church? And they told me what they get in return is God's protection. And I said, is God a mob boss? Like, are you paying protection money to the mob? Like, if you don't give, you're going to get hit by a bus on your way home? Like, that ain't love.
Yeah, man, because what does it? Malachi tell you, man, if you don't tithe, bro, you devil gonna run rampant in your finances. You don't got God's protection no more.
All right. We're coming close to an hour, so I want to make sure we get the stuff that you actually wanted to get to. So I'm going to skip around. You tell me to drill down there or go forward or go back.
Okay.
The disrespect, but the love
No,
for
I
God,
don't feel like that's disrespectful.
or the love that I did.
I think this is something you mentioned.
Yeah, used him as a preacher to preach down to the slaves and make you feel like, okay, follow this religion, until he at some point realized a lot of the scripture is being manipulated to make us feel like we have to be passive or turn the other cheek to all this. Manipulated.
Yeah.
But knowing that, or having that, that option, I guess, or knowing that, or becoming aware of that, you feel like your love for God, or the idea, I don't want to say idea to disrespect, but the love for God.
I don't feel like that's disrespectful.
Or the love, the idea, the love for a high.
I like how Kev actually, here is I forget my man's name.
Flip.
Comedian bull. Yeah, Flip. I like how he said, like, he was trying to ask him, do you feel like you lost love for God? But he says your love for, and he says the idea of God, which is a great way to say it, because we don't know if there's a God or not. And I'm thinking there's probably not. But just the idea of God, we know the idea of God exists. And then he says, I don't want to disrespect by saying the idea of God. And Kev says, no, that's not disrespectful. Like, that's cool. You can say that. I don't know. For me, not being a Kev fan, this is making me a Kev fan just to see him not trying to be funny, but just talking real talk. Like, no, God is an idea, and it's okay to address the idea because we don't know about the actual entity. I just think that was a stand-up thing for him to say.
At some point in the conversation, I think towards the end, he kind of gets into that more, like on some, yes, I look at it like this, but I haven't thrown the baby away with the bathwater type thing. Like, I see some good that it does in my life. You know what I'm saying? But after watching this, I'm like, yeah, Kev, boy, you don't know if you know how far on the edge you are.
So do you know, and like I said, I haven't watched the whole thing, does he still consider himself a Christian, and do they address that in this interview?
He does consider himself a Christian, but he recognizes that a lot of Christians don't consider him a Christian. And he also makes the point that after this interview, even more people probably not going to consider him a Christian.
That sounds like the people that come on my podcast.
and what he said was, he was like, I don't care. He was like, because if me being who I am loses you, then go. Like,
All right, let me try to let him cook a little bit here.
Power motivates you to just be a better person. If you understand what I'm saying? Like, being aware that there may be an opposite side. Do you choose to stay on the side of
Me believing that God is real or believing in God makes me want to be better, makes me want to provide for my family, makes me want to be the best husband I can be. Because if it wasn't for him or the idea of him, I may not have been that person. Do you understand what I'm
I
saying?
understand what you're saying. I
Thank you.
think, I don't think everything
I'm sorry, real quick. Let me just say, what's up, my unique Monique? I didn't see you in the chat. Feel free to exercise your wrench powers. All right.
I was taught was right, but I have not thrown away the whole thing as a result.
Got it.
I think, even especially as black people, oppressed black people in America, I can see how religion was a tool for hope.
Yeah.
Because you're just like,
Yes,
bro,
yes.
it
gotta be
literally
something
some of
better.
our gospel music, it has to be.
Has to be.
Because you're just
Yo, bro, can I just tell you, I
Yeah.
had an experience with gospel music about a month and a half ago where I incorporated gospel music back into my life
Mm-hmm.
because I was listening to this one gospel song and it just transported me, back to a time in history where my people, where black folk needed something, needed intervention, needed
Mm-hmm.
hope. And I could hear the struggle. I could hear the
Mm-hmm.
plea in their harmonies. And I fell in love with gospel music. There's a song from Yolanda Adams, one of my favorite songs. We used to sing it when I was a kid. I play that one almost every day now. And it's very God, and it's not like black gospel, like, oh, they're not talking about the biblical gospel. It actually has the gospel in it. But I don't
Mm-hmm.
hear that anymore. All I hear is we want liberation. We
Yeah.
need hope.
Need hope. And yeah, that's why I said when I say I still listen to God, bro, I still listen, especially that old gospel, bro. I
Yep.
remember when I broke my leg and I was in so much pain laying up in the hospital bed after surgery. The only
Mm.
thing that could get me through was like listening to Mahalia Jackson and like the old. I needed to hear somebody screaming and pleading. You hear what I'm saying? That was the only thing that got me through that. I know I've been changed. Like I needed to hear that struggle. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
getting they're raping our wives, selling our children, we're getting beat, abused, working on their son. I literally can't live. I can't reconcile this is it and I die in nothing.
Well, I think that's what makes religion interesting. It's when you get past the fundamentalism of it, where you believe like this says this and so therefore that, right? Black people.
Yo, I didn't know they was getting into. I didn't know
Nah,
they
the
was getting into
cooking.
all.
Mark Lamont Hill was cooking too, bro. Yeah.
Yo, but oh my gosh! So I had a friend of mine. One of my old bosses. One of the first jobs I had when I left, when Cross Movement disbanded, and I started teaching in the schools. Eventually, I ended up with a boss at that organization. One of the best men I've ever met. And we recently reconnected after 12 years of not seeing or talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we're catching up. He's finding out that I deconverted. He got my book and now he's reading and we're talking about it and all that. But one of the things he said to me over lunch is Black people read the Bible differently. We go to the Bible. He's kind of talking about the things that Kev was just talking about. And then, as many people try to do, they try to tell me that I'm reading the Bible too fundamentalistically.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I hear you, but like Mark Lamont Hill just said, like, if you get past the fundamentalist nature of this says this, and so therefore that, I understand people saying there's a way to read the Bible where you do that. I just don't know that. Like, if you can do that with that, then why can't you do that with anything? Like, why? If it's not this says this, then therefore that, then why go to it? You can go to anything and get good morals and get good encouragement to press on. And so on the average, I like what Mark Lamont Hill just said, but I just don't know how to do that. How do you get past this says this and therefore that? I don't know how people do that.
Yeah. I can't either. I definitely can't either. But I think if I had a guess, is wanting to answer the unanswerable questions And so this book provides these answers to these questions that I don't know, as far as the origin of humanity, what happens when we die, why is pain and suffering, whoopty whoopty whoop, and it gives me this hope. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
Kev said earlier, you've given me good enough answers that I can go with these answers. I'm not even going to further scrutinize it. I'm gonna just accept it.
Mm,
I
mm,
don't even want to challenge it. I want this.
mm. I want the hope that it provides, and I'll take the other stuff that I don't know what happened at the beginning. I don't know what happens when we die. I'm not really concerned about that as much as I am with the hope that it gives me.
Hmm.
If that's what's going on, I guess I get it. I can't do that.
And a lot of people don't read the Bible.
True.
You dig what I'm saying? They come up with their idea of who they think God is. They don't really even search the scriptures to really see who God actually is. They go to church and the pastor may give them a scripture, a piece of a scripture, and go touch on some whole other issues, and then they take notes from that, and that's the Bible that they get. And they good with it.
Hmm. As I was watching the parts of this that I did see, I sort of was like, man, I wonder if I'm going to have much to say here, because I was not that kind of Christian. Like, I grew up in a black church where the preacher tried to teach us every Sunday. He hardly ever hooped or hollered. He taught from the Bible every Sunday, even though it
Mhm.
was a different kind of teaching than I later adopted when I became sort of more Reformed Baptist or whatever. It still was teaching for me all the time. And
Yeah,
so the book having a meaning, I could never abandon that. And even if somebody says, yeah, but you should, if you could, maybe you would have not left. But I'm like, why do I have to do that to keep my faith? And whose responsibility is it that I should have come upon that kind of Christianity, not this kind that took the Bible so seriously? Like this, the
right,
games that have to be played to maintain faith is, to me, is just, it's a proof of its man-madeness.
right. I agree. I agree. Let's
Let me see
proceed.
if there's yeah.
Always interpreted and approach scripture and music, gospel music too,
Yeah.
in ways that push back. Like Dr. King said, we took Jeremiah's question mark and straightened it out to an exclamation point.
Right.
Meaning,
Right.
is there no, was it in any of the kind of scriptures we sort of interpret it in ways that made us think differently. Like, is there a balm in Gilead, right?
Yeah.
We made there is a balm in Gilead,
Yes.
right? How do I sing the Lord's song in a strange land? We said, I sing because I'm happy, right? There's a way that we reinterpreted scripture so that we could imagine it differently. But once you get to that place and you're not held on to a scripture literally,
Yeah.
then you can start to think about the world differently. So you don't have to be.
I respect that, but to me, all that means is the Bible is useful. Doesn't mean it's truthful. And if all you're telling me is find some useful literature, then why do I have to find that? I could find any useful literature if it's not,
Hmm.
if it doesn't have to be truthful literature.
Yeah, but see, that's
Homophobic.
that goes. Yeah,
Right.
that's how you're thinking, because you really want this. If I'm gonna be in it, I'm all the way in it. And some people,
Right.
of course, I want a faith to hold on to, and this is the way I can hold on to it. I don't have to get super deep with it. I don't have to. I'm just using it to be helpful for me, and I'm going to claim it as the truth of God. Period.
All right.
And you don't have to believe that women belong in the house and that they have demons floating above their head that you got to put a hat on the cover. And you don't have to, you can start to think about the world differently.
1,000.
I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
I cannot be a person that I'm not so that you will stay. That,
Ooh, yeah.
That's not me.
I'd rather lose you.
This is the part you were talking about.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go back a little bit.
Churched.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's right.
But they think y'all speaking the same language.
Over the years, I've lost a lot of.
Till they hear you try, I'm about to say.
If
Got it.
this homophobic, if this clip comes out and I say I'm no longer homophobic,
Yeah.
they're gonna think I'm not saved, right?
right.
But I cannot
That's a
try
good
to.
That's the opposite.
That's
Like,
like-
to
Yeah.
me, that's. It's
but I
crazy.
can't.
Yo, I loved that moment just now from Joe Budden, yo.
yeah. He said
I don't
that's
know.
a damn shame.
Yeah, I'm a sensitive guy these days, man. Like I think leaving Christianity made me so much more sensitive to the human experience. Kev says if they hear me say I'm no longer homophobic, shout out to him for no longer being homophobic and owning like,
For
yo,
sure.
I'm off that. He says if they hear me saying I'm no longer homophobic, I'm going to lose a lot of people. And then Joe Biden, I mean, you could almost feel the empathy in him saying, "That's a damn shame."
Yeah,
Like I don't know, yo, that just means something to me just to see people recognize the humanity in other people.
yeah. Because that's real love, bro. That's real love for fellow humans. You
Yeah,
know, it's not the conditional love like I love this. I love the sinner, hate the sin. It's like I love you for who you are.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. I'm gonna play that one more time. Just so I need that. That's just helpful for me.
Churched.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right.
But they think y'all speaking the same language.
Oh, over the years, I've lost a lot of.
Till they hear you try, I'm about to say.
If
Got it.
this homophobic, if this clip comes out and I say I'm no longer homophobic,
Yeah.
they're gonna think I'm not saved, right?
right.
But I cannot
That's a
try
good
to.
That's the
Chance.
opposite.
That's
Like
a-
to me,
Yeah.
that's
But I
crazy.
can't. But that happens every time I speak about that. Like people get mad. They say I'm not saved, but I've been getting I'm not saved for a long time. But I'm
Yeah.
like, I cannot be a person that I'm not, so that you will stay. That,
Ooh, yeah.
that's not me.
I'd rather lose you.
I'd rather lose.
I won't name any names, but there's somebody in the chat who we just had this conversation offline about the reason why I think it's good that people finally press that button and deconvert is because I know who I am. This has nothing to do with anybody. You know, I'm not homosexual. This person's not homosexual. We were just talking about deconverting and coming public with that information.
Yeah,
One of the things I said to this person was they asked me, and I hope they don't mind me saying this part. They asked me like what should they be prepared for, and what's it like? How do you get yourself ready to go public with a deconversion? And I said one of the things that helped me was when I had to weigh how horrible I felt living two lives for those years between 2015 and 2021. When I had two minds, two lives, all the depression, all the weight, all the anxiety, all the denial. It was a horrible, horrible feeling, and it was my life.
hmm
I said, okay, if I come out with this fact that I'm not Christian anymore, what's going to happen? Relationships, jobs, I'm going to lose a lot of stuff. And I had to weigh it. Okay, what's worse? That, losing all that stuff, relationships, jobs, or the pain that I've been living with of all this
Yeah.
pressure and all this? And I said,
Yeah.
nah, that pain is worse. I'll take whatever comes with just being able to say, this is who I am.
Yeah.
And so what Kev just said about owning that, I can identify.
Likewise. The funny thing is I went through it twice.
Mm.
I went through it coming into the faith, and when I say coming into the faith, I mean from the moment, like I told you, I was at that Thai tribute concert. You did from the moment
Mhm.
that I went from being a cultural Christian to really just deep in the faith and and totally transforming my life. Like, okay, I'm a Christian. This is what I'm on. All of the relationships that I built from being a rapper in the
Mm.
streets and doing everything
Yeah,
that I was
yeah.
doing. I don't know who my friends is going to be, but I don't care because I love
Mm.
Jesus now, like
Mm.
wholeheartedly. I went through that with that, but then on my way out, it was the same thing. Who
Yeah,
I'm, who is going to stick with me now that I've
yeah.
left the faith? All of these
Wow.
relationships that I've built with these brothers across the country,
Mm.
you know, people I've been
Mm.
building with and being intimate with, doing ministry all over the place. Like, who's going to really be who's going to be my fam now? Like, are y'all going
Mm.
to look at me different? Knowing that my aunts and uncles and my elders is going to look at me like I'm lost and going to hell, but I gotta be who I am,
Mm.
whether y'all understand it or not.
Shout out to Pragmatic Crystal and Oz. I saw her shout out to Oz. I didn't see Oz's name, but if he's in the chat, what's up, y'all? And I just found out. Oz just told me before I jumped on. you and Oz know each other. How do y'all know each other?
So Oz is a part of the hip hop. We both from Indiana. I didn't know. So he's a part of the DJ battle league that I'm close to here in the city. It's called Vinyl Destination Battle League. So he battles and DJs and stuff like that. Um, my lady friend is manages that league, and so I'm
Okay.
there all of the time. My homeboy runs the league, and so I've been seeing Eyes kick ass. You know what I'm saying on the turntables. He done got his ass kicked a couple times too. Now I ain't gonna put too much sauce on it, but we got a good little report. But I didn't know until a couple days ago that he was formerly a Christian artist, and I'm sure he
So
didn't
he
know that
has,
I was formerly a
yeah,
Christian artist, and we
yeah.
got mutual
So
acquaintances in that space.
nice. Oz, we did a Life After Faith episode, and I haven't put it up yet. I'm waiting for the right time to post my Life After Faith episode with Oz. So we'll see his story soon. But
Yeah.
let's find one or two more clips that really stood out to you, and then we can wrap it up.
All right.
Like one of my biggest problems with Christianity, and this is my story, my life, not Christian. I'm
Should I skip ahead or let this play?
Let him cook, bro.
talking about what I've seen in my life. It wasn't even that people were bad; it's that we were incongruent. It was like we presented as good, and we don't drink and we don't smoke. And then I found out I'm
Sunday.
talking about my family, not
On
the
Sunday.
church.
Yeah.
My family.
On Sunday.
Yeah, like
Sunday
we
during the day.
good, but like
Morning.
we got my grandma. I'll never forget. She had a Seagram's behind the TV, and I didn't know what it was.
It wasn't just her.
Bro, behind the
Sure
TV,
wasn't.
I drink this. I'm like,
Man,
man,
oh,
what you
shit.
on?
Yeah, Uncle Bobby had it too.
Yeah, and it's like, as far as the homophobia thing, it was so weird to me. Like, we are so anti-gay people in my church, in my life. Kids out of wedlock, we don't care at all.
Right.
Like,
We all know
bring
them.
that baby here, blah blah blah. But it's like
Yeah,
that.
you can
that's
put a pin in that
inconsistent
right there.
with me.
Yep.
So what he's just said is funny because I can relate to that as far as like his grandma having the Seagrams behind the TV and they were so religious. I remember one of the deacons at my church that I grew up in that taught youth Bible study, youth Sunday school. So I've been under this dude since I was a little kid. I remember being out on the south side of Marion, where I grew up at, and I saw him outside of his house with his brothers and his friends, and they was all drinking beers. And I was like, I was so befuddled, bro. I didn't know that these leaders in the church like was regular people. Like they kicking it, they was kicking it like my dad and them kick it. You know, that really it threw me for a loop. Yeah.
So what I
But
didn't
you
like
can
more than
post it.
anything was like, take a pause before you tell them, and also read the script.
Right.
But as a society, we've decided that ain't cool though.
Yeah.
So we negotiate a lot of things with the Bible. So I'm negotiating the homophobia part. I'm not subscribing to that.
Sound like he been listening to Dan McClellan.
Man. Yeah,
Talk
on
about
that piece.
negotiating stuff with the Bible.
Yeah, on that piece, he was really talking about like it's so much stuff that y'all negotiate. Like y'all wear the same different fabrics. Y'all do whoopty whoopty whoop. I'm choosing what I'm gonna negotiate from the Bible for to fit my life.
If y'all can do it, I can do it. Basically,
Yeah,
yeah.
Right.
Even like the story of Lot, they always talk about Lot's wife, and a theologian was like, "We misinterpreted that thing so bad. You can't be using that the way you think it is."
Well, that's a perfect example. Again, it's not just that we negotiated time wise. I think you're right. It's also that that's not the right interpretation of the story.
Literally.
Anyways, tell me the story.
So
We ain't got time to go telling the story a lot and his kids and all that, unless you think it's really
Nah,
important.
basically what he gets into is it was more so about hospitality than it was, you know, what they made it about. You know what I'm saying? It's about welcoming the strangers and things of that nature. Yeah, so you can move past it.
Yeah, but even that's going to be an interpretation and negotiation because the unspeakable thing that was done in their land is part of why they're being judged. So it's not just that y'all were inhospitable, but either way,
or because there were gay people there.
They don't say nothing about women anyway.
1000%.
So I mean, there's a few, and there's other Bible verses.
If my older brother's married and his wife and he dies, it is my responsibility.
I'm gonna skip some of this too.
Yeah. They got into
After
polygamy.
hearing all that and coming to the place that you've come, why do you need religion at all?
For me, I think a lot of the
I would imagine you don't want to skip this part.
Nah, this is one of the main pieces.
Okay. I'm gonna go back and let them ask that question again. That's a good question.
if this is not true.
Let me ask you a question then. And this is a question I wrestle with, or used to wrestle with. Now I don't care so much. After hearing all that and coming to the place that you've come, why do you need religion at all?
For me, I think a lot of the tenets that I was taught, I still believe. I think I still need the hope. It's very helpful when dealing with tragedy. I lost my brother, suddenly. I feel like leaning on God and those principles helped me. Gospel music, it feels like it's helping me. And I think a lot of
every day.
Yeah, I just feel like, to your point earlier, I think we want to.
So I wouldn't say it. I'm gonna let them cook, but I'm just thinking about this. So they're chiming in. Even Joe Button said it helps me every day. Or I don't know if that was him or Mark on my Hill. One of them said it helps me every day. I don't know that it helps me, other than it helps me feel connected to a past that I don't want to leave my soul. I don't want my connection to the people that struggled before me to dissipate. So it helps me, but it doesn't make me feel hopeful, like, oh, there's going to be some ominous help come for me. But I guess I'm wondering, for, let's say, Joe Budden, I don't think anybody on that dais is a devout Christian. So I guess I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, could I ever get to the point where something that I know is not true, that's pretending to be, that it actually helps me? Like, I don't know that I could. I don't know how I feel about that. Like,
Yeah, I can't, but it's really like I'm taking this thing and I know it's going to help me cope. So it's like I'm suspending, I'm doing what the Bible says and leaning not to my own understanding and just suspending my logic and leaning into this to help me through times of tragedy, to help me through my pain, to help motivate me to do good things. You know what I mean? But yeah.
maybe I could make it comparable to this. So when I first deconverted and I owned it fully, I couldn't go back. I was a huge Marvel movie fan. I had seen everything all the way up into, I think, the second Ant-Man. And around then is when I was like fully owning like my deconversion. First Ant-Man, the second one, somewhere around there. I couldn't watch Marvel movies anymore because I had a hard time suspending my disbelief. Like, to go back to the Bible, I would have to suspend my disbelief to treat it like there's any truth to it. And that was so distasteful to me that it's almost like anywhere I turned, like even when I'm watching certain series, you got to have a really good story to make me want to suspend my disbelief long enough to get into it, because I've got such a bad taste in my mouth from the fiction of religion.
Yeah. But wild.
sometimes I'm able to do it. Sometimes I'm able to, like, oh, the story's good enough. Let me suspend my disbelief, because they are depicting like situations that humans go through and emotions that humans have. And maybe if I watch it, it'll help me be able to relate and identify and cope with my own. So if I can do it with fiction on a TV screen, maybe there'll come a day when I can go back to gospel music or the Bible and do it with that too. Not that I have to, or you listener, watcher, not that you have to either. I'm just hearing them talk about it and trying to envision myself saying it helps me daily. And I'm like, I don't know if I can get there.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a lot.
No, it was. And I'm at the point where it's like, it's hard for me to even read the Bible now and see the good in God. I'm like, where was he even good at in this joint? Like,
wow.
He's treacherous, bro. Like, that's one of the things I've been looking at recently too, is like looking at the scripture, like, what bad did the devil actually do?
Damn, yo, you got me thinking that, like, yo, when was God ever good? Yo, hold on. Because I got a whole podcast I'm going to do when I get back from vacation next week about the trick God pulled on Israel by not sending them the kind of Messiah that he said he would if Jesus was the Messiah. I got a whole joint I'm going to do on that, but I'm going to rope in what you just said because that's a great question to ask. When the fuck was this God ever good? Like, think about Genesis 1. It was good. It was good. It was good. But no, you go to Genesis 2 and you're pulling tricks on Adam and Eve, fucking around with the trees. And you're like, when were you ever good?
When?
Damn, it's crazy.
It's like we have this idea. We put this goodness on God. I remember when I was first really started covering the Bible. Um, Early into my when I was really getting serious. And I noticed then I was like, the God that I imagined in my head is not the God that I'm reading. But
Yeah.
it still
Yeah.
didn't. I was still looking at the scripture as this is the word of God and that he has to be good. Like I had these blinders on. But now it's like, fam, I don't see where he did anything good.
It's a
Even you
great
could
point,
say
though.
he brought his people out of Egypt and things like that, but the way he did that was so fucked up.
Well,
You
he
know
let
what I'm
them go
saying?
into it in the first place.
He let him.
Like
Yeah,
before there was even a law given, he's saying to now. Granted, the story is written in retrospect, so it's not prophetic, but it's supposed to look prophetic. And he says to them, when you go into bondage, like knowing they're going to go into bondage before they had done anything bad or anything wrong, when you go into bondage and the Lord delivers you. So it's like, wait a minute, before you do the good thing of delivering us, you let us go into the bondage in the first place. Why the hell did you do that?
yeah, and then bringing them out like you stop, you harden Pharaoh's heart and bring all of these plagues like for to stroke your own ego. Like wh- when was you good? When was you all good? Like
Mm, mm,
you killed all of the
crazy.
firstborns. Like you like, damn. Like when was you good?
Mm, wow. Wow. There's so much there. um, Now, granted, the Christian can always say, "Well, I know He's good to me. He blessed me. Look at my family. I love my kids, and I got this job, and He blessed me." But I think your question is more pointed. Go through the book, and tell me where God was good, not where He promised good, where He was actually good.
Hmm.
Wow.
There's something innate about humans. We want to be good people, or we want to feel like we're good people. We want to feel like there's a code that we are following,
Yeah.
or society will fall apart. But I think the biggest thing is it's hard to pull away from what you were raised, and there's not enough for me now that makes me feel like I'm throwing the whole thing away.
Yeah.
Even if some parts I don't agree with the way they were taught to me, I still believe in God. I still believe God has a hand on my life. I still have faith in God. I still pray and all those type of things.
It's it's so hard to outgrow
Hmm.
or outlive that conditioning.
Hmm. And like
God's
I
got His
said,
hand on my life. Those are things that people have been saying to him since he was a kid.
yes, and like I said, I feel like he recognizes his indoctrination.
Yeah.
And like he said, it's so hard to break away from what I've been taught. He literally
Mm.
said it.
Yeah.
But there's hardly anything in the world that's perfect. I don't think a thing has to be perfect for it to be useful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the
So I
part
think that's where I'm at with religion.
I asked my
That's
mom's
the
that
part I
same
want to
question.
get to right there. Oh,
Yeah.
my bad for you. Go ahead.
No, so I asked my mom's that same question.
I've never seen Joe Budden be this like deferential. Like every time I skipped around through this, he was never the one talking. Like, or he was rarely the one talking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know what's
Right.
gotten into him, but I like this side of him.
Yeah.
And her answer was, yo, in the end, I'd rather have religion and be right than not and be wrong. And I was like, hey, you know what? I can't say shit to that.
Yes, you can. What do you think about that? Well, how would you
Yo,
respond to that?
the thing of it is, like, if somebody said that to me, I'm just
Mm,
gonna be. It's like you still are disregarding all of the facts that are right in front of your face. Like, you know this is wrong. It's like me saying I'd rather believe in Santa Claus and be wrong than not believe in Santa Claus and be right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it, you feel what I'm saying? It's like there's so much, like the timeline of the earth and the universe doesn't even line up with this Bible. It's like you have to believe so much bullshit. You dig what I'm saying? For one, you have to believe that there's one God that only came to one group of people in this specific time, but he wants everybody throughout the world to know him. You dig what I'm saying? You get static again.
Okay.
Yo, yo. So I can't hear you right now.
1 2 1 2. How's it sound?
Okay, yeah, you back. You
Okay.
back.
Yeah,
So
one
it's like
God.
I don't believe that I'm gonna die and wake up to this judgmental beast that these ancient Hebrews created. You dig what I'm saying? So it's like my answer to that is would be to tell the person like you are really caught up into this superstition.
Hmm.
You are really caught up into this mythology to even say I don't know if I believe it or not, but I'm gonna just act because you faking belief at that point, right? You just doing it as a you're just doing this as like a safety measure, like
Yeah, that's a good question.
as a
Pascal's
life
wager.
jacket.
For anybody who doesn't know, that's called Pascal's wager. I'd rather believe and be wrong because if I'm wrong, I don't lose anything, than not believe and be wrong because if I don't believe and I'm wrong, then I lose out eternally. I get hell and all that. That's called Pascal's wager. He's an old
Hmm.
philosopher. I think he was Blaise Pascal. That was this wager that he talked about. One of the things that I would say to that, often people don't consider. Okay, you believe because you don't want to not believe and be wrong. But here's the thing you don't really think about. What if you're wrong about the religion that you believe? So you can believe because you don't want to be wrong and go to hell. But let's say some other religion is true. Now
Facts.
you believe, but you still are wrong. So it's like that
Still could
doesn't
be
really
wrong.
solve anything for you. So that's not to me. That's not as a winsome idea, even though Christians like to throw that around. And like he said, his mom said to him, and he's like, what can I say to that? Well, you can say what we just said.
Yeah, I had a family member hit me with that when I first deconverted. I'm like,
What'd
I
you
can't
say?
just make. I was like, I can't just make myself believe. It's like, it
Hmm.
is what it is at this point. It's not a matter of my decision. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
I'm not convinced by this. I can't make
Yeah,
myself be convinced by it. And
yeah.
if I act like I am, or if I tell myself I am, here's the funny thing. Let's say the person who you coach yourself to believe when you really don't, and you do that your entire life because you're like the dude in the New Testament. Help my unbelief. I have unbelief, but I'm going to try to believe as much as I can. Does God know how much unbelief you actually are still harnessing? And what is he going to do about your unbelief?
Well, you could do all of that, and Jesus still tell you, "Depart from me, I never knew you."
I never knew you.
Boy, you was just using this for a safety jacket. You ain't really believe. Gone.
Yeah. Is there anything else we need to skip to? Because if not, I'm pretty much content with what we got so far.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much wrapping up on that end. You
All
could
right.
play it a little bit, but I think they pretty much wrapping up.
Yeah, that's like a major.
He's like, I'd rather just when it's all said and done, be like, hey, you know what? She was
I was
right.
trying to be right and trying to go to heaven. Usually,
Yeah.
those actions that follow are good actions.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, what's the worst that can happen?
And that's
For-
and that's
for
that's
me.
how she laid it out.
You know
And
what I'm
I was
saying?
like,
Which I can't
yeah,
argue with that
yeah, I
either.
couldn't argue with it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's like the major.
That's one of the things I always, when I do my Life After Faith episodes and I check for understanding, what Kev just said, doing right. I'll go back and let him say it. I think it's important to hear how he phrased that.
and be wrong. And I was like, hey, you know what? I can't say shit to that.
Yeah, that's like a major.
Like, I'd rather just, when it's all said and done, be like, hey, you know what? She was
I was
right.
trying to be right and trying to go to heaven. Usually, those actions that follow are good actions.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, what's the worst that can happen?
And
Trying to do right and trying to go to heaven, usually those actions that follow are good actions. Well, he didn't violate what I thought. I thought he was saying trying to do right to go to heaven, but he didn't say that. He just basically said if you're trying to go to heaven, you're simply going to be doing right things, not to go, but those two coincide. I can understand that.
I feel like that's what he was saying. I feel like he was saying you're doing good actions because you want to go to heaven. You want to go to heaven, so you're doing good actions. That's what
And
I
if he
felt
is
like
saying
was
that,
just-
that's the understanding that I check for. Whenever I hear people who say I don't believe anymore, then I find out that you believed that you doing right was the key to you going to heaven. Then I'm like, oh, then you never understood what the gospel was in the first place. Which
right.
it's interesting to me that somebody like Kev or whoever, and I think the Black church has done this disservice to many people of not educating them on what the gospel is, so that what happens is people deconvert and then they end up running into the gospel thinking, oh, damn, maybe that's why I deconverted, because I never understood the gospel in the first place. And then they dive back into it. And now they're having round two.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely can happen.
So, hey, but thank you for suggesting this. It's probably a lot more because we had another 15 minutes of their conversation about church. But I'm just delighted to see, like I said, Black men sitting around, allowing each other to testify, even though the testimonies are not what the church probably would approve of.
Yeah. Yeah, I was blown away. I was just, I'm a truck driver, so I usually listen to Joe. Wait till it's a work day for me to listen to different podcasts and things like that. And that's one of the podcasts that I listen to. And so I'm just driving along to listen. I'm like, what? No, they staying on this topic. Like they serious. Like they give everybody's getting a chance to get this off of their chest, and they listening to him for understanding, and they wasn't being judgmental. It turned into something great and allowed me to see a different side of KevOnStage. And what I took away from it was, like I said, I took away from it that he recognizes that he's been indoctrinated. He recognizes that the organization that he grew up in wasn't even heavily theologically educated. And there's a lot of things in scripture that he doesn't agree with, but he was so heavily indoctrinated that it's hard for him to break away from it totally. He hasn't seen a reason to all the way leave it, but he's going to cater it to himself to where it's useful. To where it's useful. Not that he does even believes that it's true, but he has seen it be useful for him.
Yeah. I can't be mad at that. If that's where he is, and if that's as far as he ever goes, I don't know that he necessarily needs to deconvert, because here's one of the main things I care about. Are you going to be out there hurting people with your belief system? And if you're not going to be out there hurting people with your belief system and it's helping you, care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's definitely a lot more liberal than I had imagined. And I do see him continuing to lose followers that follow him.
Well, he might have just gained one in me.
Yeah, word. But I think I do see him definitely losing some of his church fan base that are more fundamental.
Yeah. It's like a curse in a Tyler Perry movie. Like you see the church folk, getting up to exit the theater because, I thought Tyler Perry was one of us. That's the only thing I like about Tyler Perry, because I don't like his films at all whatsoever. I like the fact that I think, like KevOnStage, he understands that he's not one of them, but he's producing his content for them because in a lot of ways he comes from them.
Right.
And I don't mean them as in Christians. I mean them as in church folk.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree. It's
hey man,
in
appreciate you. Go ahead.
I feel like I'm still churchy. Like even you churchy. Like the
I don't think I'm
analogies that you
churchy,
use.
though.
Nah, you churchy,
Is,
fam. The analogies that you use all the way through this joint was like scripture joints. Like it's
but
just
no, but see, that's the
that
thing.
that part is in you.
But here's my point though. I think there's a difference between being churchy and having been biblical. Like I was biblical, I wasn't churchy.
Yeah.
I
Okay. I
saw the
can.
world through the lens of the Bible, but I was the furthest thing from
Hmm.
like even when people used to listen to old cross movement music and say, "See, look at how churchy y'all were. Y'all got scripture, y'all got this, y'all got that." But you don't know we were verbally battling, lyrically battling the Hebrew Israelites. We didn't write that
Hmm.
stuff for the church. We wrote it for the
Right.
Hebrew Israelites who were speaking Greek and Hebrew.
Right.
I got a lot of one of my old songs. Not even those who speak in Greek and Hebrew can build a wall of knowledge of self that God can't see through. That's to the Hebrew Israelites and the
Right.
five
Right.
percenters.
Right.
So anyway, I just say all that to say, not the Hebrews, it's to the five percenters, but I don't think, I mean, I can understand why somebody said, no, I don't care, bro. You were churchy, but I think there's a delineation, but either way, same thing applies. I was biblical and I still am. I can't get away
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another way of saying it. I feel like. Check.
Okay. You're not gonna let me slide with that one, huh?
No, I'm letting. I'm conceding. I'm
Okay.
conceding. You biblical. That's your way of saying it, bro.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And hold on. My unique just said, Brady, you are churchy-ish. Okay.
Churchy-ish.
All right. All right. Maybe I gotta own it. Maybe I gotta own
Word.
it. But no, but you were saying though, even you said you're still churchy. What do you mean?
I grew up in the church. It's like I can relate to. I get the inside jokes. You know what I'm saying? I can do the inside jokes, and the person that didn't come up in the church ain't gonna get what
Mm,
the type of jokes or the type of banner that we can have because we grew up like that. Like,
mm,
I grew up on them pews. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. I get it. I get it. Hey, well, yo, let's do this again. Keep sending me more content we can react to or any other conversations you want to have. Definitely welcome,
We
man. Appreciate you on this one.
Yeah, we gotta come back. I got one of my homeboys here in the city that's in the faith that
Oh,
you
that's
know,
right.
yeah, he feel like he ready. He ready to defend the
So,
faith. So
so are you saying you want to do a conversations with Christians with me, you, and him?
yeah, because
Because I don't want him to feel like
I
he's
know
being like double teamed or anything.
it ain't. I don't think it's gonna be no double. I don't think it's gonna be a double team. But I know he knows me personally, and I think he would feel actually more comfortable
Okay.
with me being there than just him speaking to you because he don't know you.
How
You
you
dig what
think
I'm
it's
saying?
gonna go for him?
I don't think it's gonna. I think he's gonna stand on what he's stand on, but it's gonna be some
Okay.
points. The truth is the truth, man. So
All right.
we gonna see.
So let's cook it up for
What I
September
like
then.
about you, what I like about you that I don't like about some of the other call-in shows that Christians do is you're respectable. I
Mm,
watch some of these guys and like they be cussing the callers out, and I just be like, man, they be mad disrespectful. You feel what I'm
mm,
saying? And maybe it's because the culture I'm from, but I
yeah.
feel like, fam, you wouldn't talk to me like that if we wasn't on over the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all be wild, disrespectful. Like I smack fire out you, fam. Like so, I respect the fact that when you talking to
Yeah.
folks, you don't go crazy like some of these dudes do.
So Justin deconstructions on what I like about him. He's as respectful as the caller is. If you're
Yeah,
calling and you're respectful and you got some humility, he's so like gentle and tender. But you act like you owe some shit,
yeah, for sure, for sure,
it
for
goes
sure.
down.
Yeah,
So all
he's
right, well
one of
let's
them that I could tolerate though for sure. I could
yeah,
tolerate
for
him for
sure.
sure.
For sure. So all right, so we'll try to get you and your man on in September and we'll work that out. I'll look forward to that then.
All right, peace. Enjoy your night, man.
Sandy, hey, much love. If you're watching, make sure you like, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I'll be back. I'll be on vacation first half of next week, but I'll be back next Thursday. Oh, guess what? Next Thursday, we got a special guest. Albert Kim will be joining us next Thursday. It's not going to be Nurch, but it'll be me and Albert. We'll be talking about, if you haven't seen it, Should I tell you what we'll be talking about? We'll be talking about
Sneak
Christian
peek.
nationalism. That's all I'll say. So come back next
Yeah.
Thursday for me and Albert Kim dealing with Christian nationalism. And I'll catch you guys next time. Much love, y'all. Peace.
Peace.